Welcome to the 5-Minute Prime Podcast. Quick, actionable tips to master personal finance and real estate investing. In just 5 minutes a day, we'll help you build wealth and achieve financial freedom. We are in deep water now. In the last episode, we unlocked the vault. We talked about how to pull tax-free cash out of your properties using strategic refinancing. That was the offense. That was the fun part. But today we have to talk about the defense, because debt is a double-edged sword. Used correctly, it accelerates wealth. Used recklessly, it destroys it. If you leverage up to 80% on every property in a 6.5% interest rate environment, you are driving a race car with no brakes. One vacancy, one insurance hike, one bad month. And you aren't just losing cash flow, you're losing the asset. Today, we are building your safety net. We are designing the 2026 portfolio stress test. Hey, Prime investors, Martin Maxwell here. Welcome back to the 5-Minute Prime Podcast. We are firmly in the manage phase of the Prime framework. If episode 109 was about the accelerator, today is about the airbags. We are going to cover the new rules of leverage, how to calculate the safety LTV, and the 4 specific threats you must stress test your portfolio against before you sign any new loan documents. Let's secure the fortress. For the last decade of low interest rates, the standard advice was simple. Refinance until you hit 80% loan to value, LTV, maximize your leverage. That advice is now dangerous. Why? Because of the debt service coverage ratio, DSCR. Lenders typically require your net operating income to be 1.25 times your debt payment. When rates were 3%, an 80% LTV loan left plenty of room for cash flow. You easily hit that 1.25 times coverage. But at 6.5% or 7% interest, the math changes. The interest payment eats up a massive chunk of your rent. If you have a B-class property with a 5.5% cap rate and you put 80% leverage on it at 6.5% interest, your DSCR drops below 1.0. That means you have negative cash flow. You are feeding the property every month. My point of view is this. The old rule of 80% is dead. In this rate environment, 65% to 70% is the new safety LTV. If you refinance, do not push to the max. Leave equity in the deal. That equity is your buffer. It keeps your payment lower and ensures you stay cash flow positive even if rents dip slightly. Don't get greedy. Get safe. Now, just because we want safety doesn't mean we want laziness. You have to make your equity work. Most amateurs focus on cash return, but professionals track return on equity, ROE. Here's the concept. As you pay down your loan and the property appreciates, your equity grows. That's great. But that equity is earning 0% interest sitting inside the walls of your house. Let's say you have a property worth $200,000. You owe $60,000. You have $140,000 in equity. The property cash flows $5,000 a year. Your ROE is $5,000 divided by $140,000. That's 3.5%. Inflation is 3 to 4%. Your wealth is stagnant. That is lazy equity. The strategic play is to refinance just enough to pull out capital to reinvest in a higher yielding asset. Maybe that new deal with 40% bonus depreciation we talked about while keeping your LTV in that 65 to 70% safety zone. You are balancing efficiency, ROE, with safety, LTV. That is the tightrope walk of the professional investor. Before you close any refinance loan, you must run your portfolio through what I call the 4 Horsemen stress test. These are the 4 things that kill portfolios. Can you survive them? Horseman number 1, the vacancy shock. Can your portfolio survive 15% physical vacancy for 12 months? If we hit a recession, tenants lose jobs. If your break-even occupancy is 90%, you are too fragile. You need to be able to survive at 80% or 85%. Horseman number 2, the insurance and tax spike. We covered this back in episode 41. Insurance premiums in places like Florida and Texas are doubling. Taxes are rising. Run your numbers. If your insurance goes up 20% next year, are you still cash flow positive? If not, you cannot afford more debt. Horseman number 3, the rate reset. If you have adjustable rate debt, ARMs, or commercial loans with a 5-year balloon, what happens if rates go to 8.5% when you have to refinance? My advice? In this environment, prioritize fixed rate debt. Do not gamble with floating rates unless you have a massive cash cushion. Lock in your cost of capital. Horseman number 4, the CapEx crunch. The roof fails, the HVAC dies, a pipe bursts. The old rule was 3 months of reserves. The new prime standard, you need 6 months of expenses plus your highest insurance deductible. Example, $5,000 for wind damage sitting in cash. If you pull cash out in a refinance, do not spend it all. Keep a portion of it to fully fund this 6-month Fortress account. That cash isn't for investing, it's for sleeping at night. Finally, how do you decide which properties to keep and refinance and which ones to just get rid of? Use the decision matrix. Quadrant 1, high equity / high performance. This is a cash cow. Keep. Refinance carefully to extract liquidity but never sell. Quadrant 2, high equity / low performance / high tax basis. This property has a lot of trapped cash but isn't producing. And because you bought it recently or put a lot of money into it, your tax basis is high. Sell. You won't pay much tax because of the high basis. Move that equity into a better performing asset. Quadrant 3, high equity / low performance / low tax basis. This is the trap. You've owned it for 20 years. It's tired. Rents are low. But if you sell, you get hit with massive capital gains tax. Refinance. This is the perfect candidate for episode 109 strategy. Refinance to pull the cash out tax-free. Use the cash to buy a new high-performance property. Keep the old one as a bond that pays for itself. Let's recap. Leverage is powerful, but it requires respect. 1. Target a safety LTV of 65 to 70%. 2. Measure your return on equity to kill lazy capital. 3. Run the 4 Horsemen stress test before you sign. 4. Fund a 6-month reserve fortress. Your challenge today. Run the vacancy shock on your own portfolio. Take your gross scheduled rent and multiply it by 0.8515% vacancy. Subtract your expenses and your new proposed debt service. Is the number positive? If yes, you are ready to refinance. If no, you need to pay down debt or increase rents before you take cash out. Next week, we are shifting from defense back to offense. You have your war chest from the refinance. You have your fortress built. Now, where do you deploy that capital in 2026? We are diving into the 2026 market forecast and revealing the specific markets smart money is targeting. I'm Martin Maxwell. Keep learning, stay strategic, and keep building one step at a time.